Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Parent Coaches Unleashed. And I get to say hi to Carrie right next to me.
Hi, this is so interesting, strange, fun, all at the same time that
Yes, this
we're
is our first on one camera episode.
episode. Yeah.
I am with Carrie in Park City. Um, yeah. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Let's see how it is looking at each other side to side instead of face to face. So it's a good topic to be together because it's a heavy, serious topic, but one that we want to both share our experiences and our opinions, with the caveat that we are not medical professionals, we are not doctors or therapists, but this is our opinion and experience on the subject of suicide.
Yeah, we're coming to you today speaking from experience and from our heart. We don't want to come off like we're giving any type of medical or mental health advice, strictly our experience.
Hopefully, this topic is not going to scare you. It is just to keep an ongoing conversation, as it's one of those topics that seems in our past has been like a hush hush. And we just want to put it out there and talk about it, um, and share, our experience and what we think should be discussed
Yeah,
in homes with our children, with our friends, with our family, and not a big hush hush behind a closed door, scary conversation.
exactly. And living or coming from Parkland, Florida, after living through the tragedy at our high school when a shooter opened fire and killed 17 innocent people, um, our community suffered loss in addition to the original tragedy that occurred from people
Who
dying by
by suicide.
suicide.
Yes. And we want to point out, right, that there's lots of ways to talk about suicide or discuss it, but one thing we've noticed that has changed is the term or the terminology. It used to be
Committed
committed
suicide,
suicide,
right?
and now it's died by suicide. So to, committed is a harsh word, and it's just another way that people pass. But we want to
It almost sounds like a crime, like they
right.
committed suicide,
Well,
like
I think it at
when it
back in the
was,
day, it was looked at as a crime because there are certain religions
yes,
that
forbidden, or
forbid.
think you go to hell if you
Yes,
commit suicide, or you'll never get to heaven if you believe that.
right.
Um,
And I have to share, so my very first experience with suicide was when I was in high school, and I had a fellow classmate that died by suicide. So he was either 15 or 16 years old, and it was my first funeral that I had been to outside of my a grandparent, and I attended, and he was Jewish, and the rabbi, I can't remember the details, but it was for a horrible experience. It was a positive experience the way that the rabbi expressed how this person was passing on. Um, it wasn't, again, like they weren't covering up the fact of how he passed. But I didn't know as a 15, 16-year-old
mm,
how to think about suicide because I was scared. How could something be that bad
right,
for that his life to end that way?
right.
And so I think it was my first eye-opening experience with it.
I don't remember my first experience with it. I remember the most powerful one for me was my brother died by suicide. There were no warnings. My brother did have an addiction. He was a gambler, and obviously we can't speak to him now and ask him what led up to that. But things that we uncovered afterwards, I think it is safe to imagine that he saw no other way out.
Mhm,
I believe that he felt the best way for him to help his family was to not be here any
mhm.
longer.
Yeah, and I think, right, we've heard those comments about, "Oh, that's a selfish
Oh my
act,"
gosh, I just want to
and
stop you there
yeah,
because
it's
that was said to
too
people in my family.
okay.
And, uh,
Did you ever feel that way?
you know, if I'm being honest, yes, I did.
Okay.
I did think that.
And
At
how
first,
old were you?
no, no,
How
no.
old were you?
When my brother died,
Passed, yeah,
we just passed his 5-year anniversary.
okay,
So, my initial thought was, how could you do this? Maybe not so much you're so selfish, but how could you do this to your family? And the more I thought about who my brother was in touch with every member of our family, extended and otherwise. He was the link to so many different relatives. He would be the first person to give you the shirt off his back. He'd be the first person you would call if you had a problem. He'd be the first person to show up. He coached his kids little league, flag football games. He was present in everybody's life. So to describe my brother as selfish was absolutely not who he
mhm,
was. And once I thought about it like that, I was able to come to terms with the fact that I really, I really believe that there was no other way out for him, that he saw no other way that he could help his family. As a matter of fact, there have been times when I think that he really believed he was helping his
right,
family by
right,
not being.
and, you know, my experience is I have, suicide ideation in my family, so I have a few different family members that suffer with when they're in a depressive state that they do have suicidal thoughts. And I have learned through therapy and meeting with a psychiatrist with one of my actually both of my family members that, and this is how the psychiatrist described it and helped me, that it is okay to think about suicide and to talk about suicide or the thoughts around it that you have,
Right.
but it is not okay to carry through with those thoughts and actions because of the fact that you don't even know if you follow through, number one, that it'll actually work.
Mm,
And the extent of the people that you don't even realize that it will affect.
right.
If you see no other way and you're in such pain and you've tried many other things, whether it's talking to someone, therapy, medication, right? The pain that they carry on a daily
Yeah.
basis is so severe that I don't know if their intention is to end their life, is to end
The
the
pain, the
pain.
suffering. Yeah.
So talking about it and encouraging, right? It's a it's difficult, right? If you even knew and you could go back, it would be a really difficult conversation to have with your brother. Are you thinking about this? Are you feeling like
Right.
ending your life? Right? That's a really difficult conversation to have, but it when someone shares with you that they are in a really tough state,
Yeah.
it is okay, again, showing compassion, but and it feels really, really, really uncomfortable. I've had to do it, but, you know, are you 30 thinking of hurting yourself?
Right.
And you have to be ready, though, that they might say yes. Then you're supposed to ask them, like, "Well, do you have a plan? Have you thought of ways?" Now, again, I'm not an expert.
Right. Can we
Yeah,
just
we
pause for
can
one
pause,
second because
totally.
I want so family members shared with you that they had these thoughts.
Correct.
Was your first reaction one of panic before you had this knowledge from
So the first time it happened, yes. Inside, I was absolutely panicking, and I feel like I went into rescue mode. However, what I've learned is that you take in the information as hard as it may be. Believe me, even thinking about it right now, like I want to, like you want to
Sure,
start
yeah,
crying, you want to say no, 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 and give them every reason why they should live. But at that moment, you were like, I'm just going to sit with you and we're going to find help and the
right,
resources that you and we need. I will not leave your side. And again, when people say it, there's a difference in talking about it, saying it, and making a threat or something that you might see as a threat. And when they're quietly suffering, but when you ask them, have you thought of this? And then they say yes. Like all of it you have to take seriously,
right.
whether you think it's a empty threat or not. It is a very serious thing. But again, not to panic, even though how do you even
I don't know
control
how
yourself
right,
from
right,
not
right.
panicking
Just
or
the fear,
bursting
and
out
yeah. Mhm.
crying or begging and pleading? I've been through all of those.
Right.
It's I will not leave you. Um, I understand you have those thoughts. Let's work together to get help on how we talk through that or work through those thoughts, right? It's hard to say, stop it, get those thoughts out of your
Right, don't
head.
think
Like,
that way,
you
or you have
can't.
so much to live for.
Right,
I mean,
right,
those are the initial things you want to say to talk someone out of these ideas, but
right. But to me, I took it as, okay, this is really serious. And the person, they're struggling with this. And these are the intrusive thoughts that are coming up. Now, there are other things, right, that can cause this. Drugs,
yep,
certain medications,
yes.
or what's it called? Counter interaction,
Right, or even but
contraindicators
there
of
are even
medication.
medications that say
Yes.
these the warning label
Yeah.
might even
Side
say
effect
could
might
be
be
suicidal
suicide thoughts or
ideation
whatever.
or
Yes. So, when you're talking, whether it's your friend, your parents, right? One of my family members is older, is a senior having these thoughts.
yeah,
So it doesn't just happen to kids
right.
or adults or 50-year-olds. How old was your brother? He's
Oh my
40?
gosh, 5 years ago, so he was no, he was in his 50s.
Okay.
He was 50 I don't know how I forgot this. He was 52. He was
Okay.
the same age my dad was when he died. So that was like a big number for our family.
So what did your family do at that moment? Because you said there was no, he was not someone you would have thought that this is, not that we think about how our family members' lives are
Right,
going
right.
to
No,
end, but it was a shock.
it was
Shock, no
100% a
warning.
shock.
Okay.
No warning, no talk of it, but we did find out after the fact that he was planning it.
Okay.
Um, there was the thought to cover it up, let's not tell anybody. Um, but we started our episode by saying there's such a negative connotation around it. How did you not know? Or how did you miss the signs? Or um, what was wrong with him? Or even if something was wrong with, oh, like did you the whispering? There's so many negative things surrounding it.
Mm.
Plus, I have two nephews. My brother had two boys, and
Were they told the truth?
they were 18 and 16
Okay.
at the time. So there was the idea, let's not tell them right away. I told my own kids, and my son had a he went into shock. Like, he went pale, he couldn't speak. I mean, his reaction to it was really
Mm. Devastating.
devastating, understandably so. They loved their uncle. I mean, he was the funny uncle, like always making everybody laugh, making jokes. Um, so I know now that my nephews are in therapy, they are aware of the circumstances surrounding it. Um, but I I don't people you're not taught how to deal with it.
No.
You're not taught what to say, and there is a taboo around it, and it is more of a hush hush, and when certain family members found out, they're like, "Oh, no, that can't be. He probably had a heart attack like his dad." Like, people were in denial about it. Uh
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I know this is just I really commend you for being able to talk about it, right? I know how scary, right? And how difficult it is to say some of these things out loud and we have no idea.
Translate into which language? Arabic?
Your brother's fucking with us. Your brother is fucking with us right now. Okay, I'm so sorry, but
So the Alexa just came on asking if we needed
to
to translate
translate into
into a
other
different language. Into which language?
Oh,
Arabic? German?
oh my God, your brother is messing with us.
Russian? Or Mandarin Chinese?
Did you speak other languages?
No, no, just Brooklyn.
So the strangest thing just happened, as Jessica shared, right? Like Alexa just started talking to us, and I really believe in these strange signs. You said
Yes.
that that
He was
Ryan
a
was a
jokester, yeah.
very funny person. So we just had this moment where, like, he's like, oh, because I think I was saying this is really difficult
Yes.
and hard and sad,
Mhm.
and now he's like,
I'm here.
I'm here. It's okay. Learn from the,
Right, right.
I don't know. There's some
Right, right,
sign.
right,
This
right,
is
right.
very strange. We need actually to contact Linda. Well, we need Linda Heighthouse, the medium we had on. Like,
Yes, yes, yes,
what
yes.
does this mean? But okay, let's get it back to why are we talking about this today? Like, what what do we want? What's the messaging we want for everyone? Other than, we want to share our stories
Right.
because
No, I think
it's
it's
helpful
it's I think it's to negate the taboo.
around it. Yep.
Yeah. Alright. Yes. I mean, where I feel like we're at the point in our life where everybody we know knows somebody
Mhm.
that has been affected by a suicide.
Yes. Yes.
And that's a scary thought.
It is.
It's a scary thought to think that somebody was in that much pain and that they didn't think to say, I need help. They
Mhm.
thought the best answer for them was a permanent one.
Right.
And that is, to me, that part is the scariest part of it all. I just think it's really important for people to
To
talk
talk
about it,
about it, yes. It
that
should
it should
not
not
be
be,
a hush hush word.
yes,
And the most important thing that I have learned is to sit with people and be compassionate, even if you do not understand what they're going through, or you might see it differently. Like, you see their life and their purpose is something very different than they're experiencing at that moment in time when they're in that deep, deep pain,
yeah,
is to just sit with them, listen without judgment. Do not try to fix it because you can't, unfortunately,
right.
but to find collectively with them the help
Resources and help.
and resources.
So there's 988, the
Yes.
suicide hotline.
Yes, and it was a big push a year or 2 ago when it first launched, but I've actually talked to people that have no idea it even exists. So 988 is a hotline. If you are struggling, if a loved one
Yeah.
is struggling, if you know someone struggling, anyone could call. The person struggling can call, or the one that's trying to assist can call 988.
There's also very in tune to people who use it as an empty threat. Like, I know that my daughter had some friends that have said to her, if you don't do this with me, I'm just going to kill myself. And a lot of times people do use it as a threat or as a manipulating factor. If you break up with me, I'm going to kill myself.
Mhm.
People say things that they're they're not really planning on acting on it. It's more of a, I need attention from you right now. I need you to talk to me right now. Um, but I I do believe that somebody who's using that specific line as a threat needs to speak to someone as well.
Yes, yes, and I think if you're on the receiving end of that line, right, "I'm gonna hurt myself,
Right,
I'm gonna kill myself if this
right.
happens," that the person, right, and this is something that we should talk to our kids about. It's a tough one, but if they come to us saying,
This person
"This
said
person
this.
has said this," the response should be like, not you, "Oh, I'm gonna call their mom right now," but coach them on, you need to go back and say, "That's a very serious line and words. I am going to take that seriously. And so I am concerned for you. I am going to do ABC,"
Right,
which might mean I'm going to talk to my parent. I'm going to talk to your parent. You should talk to your parent,
right,
because that person needs to know, like, it is
right,
serious and I have concerns, not like brush it off.
right. Yes.
And if your son or daughter does say to you those lines, like, some parents are like, "Don't say that. Don't ever say that." Like, I might actually be curious and say, like, "Huh, why do you think you're saying that? Like, what are the feelings behind that?" Rather than shutting it down,
Yeah.
because there's something going
Yeah.
on for someone to be
There's
able
definitely a
to
thought
use those
process that
words.
right, that
Yeah.
they're experiencing in that moment where they clearly need help because even if they're using it as an empty threat or a manipulation tactic, that's still saying something about
Yeah.
their mental stability in that moment.
Yeah. They might be asking for help in a way that they don't
Right,
know have other words to say.
right.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for
I'm
sharing.
glad your brother paid us a visit. I really there's something there.
Yes,
Actually, I unplugged the Alexa and I was waiting, like,
for
is
it
it
to come
still
back
gonna
on.
happen? We take this seriously
For sure.
and we hope our experiences will help you. Again, remember 988, reach out to us if you have questions, concerns, or we have met a lot of different therapists, psychologists, and psychiatrists. So if anyone is struggling
Yeah,
and needs assistance, we are happy to provide and make
absolutely.
connections. And again, thank you so much for listening. I hope you listened through all the way to the end, as we know this might have been
A
a
tough
really
one.
difficult topic. So thank you.
Thanks for being with us.